The letter that changed Christmas. The snow fell softly on Christmas Eve, blanketing the streets of Boston in a gentle white silence. Marcus Hayes sat alone in his penthouse office on the 40th floor, watching the city lights flicker like distant stars. Below, families hurried home with wrapped presents and warm smiles. But up here, surrounded by leather chairs and mahogany desks, Marcus felt nothing but the weight of his own solitude. He was 42 years old and had built an empire. Hayes Technologies was his creation, his purpose, his entire world. For 20 years, he had poured every ounce of himself into the company. Board meetings replaced birthday celebrations. Conference calls took priority over Christmas dinners. Success had come at a price Marcus hadn't fully understood until it was too late. His phone buzzed with a text from his assistant. "Office is locked up. Merry Christmas, Mr. Hayes." Even she had somewhere to be, someone waiting for her. Marcus loosened his tie and stared at the contract on his desk. Another merger. Another victory. But tonight, it felt hollow. He decided to leave. The elevator ride down felt longer than usual, each floor a reminder of the emptiness that awaited him at home. When the doors finally opened to the lobby, the security guard looked up in surprise. "Mr. Hayes, I thought you'd left hours ago." "Just finishing up some work, Tom." "Merry Christmas." "Merry Christmas, sir. Get home safe." Home. The word echoed in Marcus's mind as he stepped out into the snowy evening. His penthouse apartment was only 6 blocks away, so he decided to walk. Perhaps the cold air would clear his head, shake off this unfamiliar melancholy that clung to him like fog. The streets were quieter now. Shop windows glowed with warm light, displaying scenes of joy and togetherness that felt like they belonged to a different world. Marcus pulled his coat tighter and kept walking. That's when he saw them. 3 little girls, identical in every way, stood on the corner near a small neighborhood park. They couldn't have been more than 5 years old. They wore matching pink coats and colorful knit hats, their breath creating small clouds in the frozen air. One of them held what appeared to be a handmade card, decorated with paper hearts in every color. The girls were looking directly at him. Marcus slowed his pace, confused. Their mother stood a few feet behind them, a young woman with kind eyes and an encouraging smile. She nodded at her daughters, gently pushing them forward. The girl in the middle, slightly braver than her sisters, stepped toward Marcus. She held out the card with both small hands. "Excuse me, mister," she said, her voice sweet and tentative. "We made this for you." Marcus stopped completely. "For me? But you don't know me." "Mommy says sometimes people need kindness most when they look like they don't need anything at all," the girl on the left chimed in. The third sister added, "You looked sad. We wanted to make you smile." Marcus knelt down slowly, bringing himself to their eye level. He took the card carefully, as if it were made of glass. The front was covered in glued paper hearts, each one a different color. Inside, in careful crayon letters, were 3 signatures: Emma, Lily, and Grace. Above their names, in slightly neater handwriting, was a message: "You are not alone. Merry Christmas." Something inside Marcus cracked, not broke, but opened. Like ice melting under warm water. This is the most beautiful gift I've received in a very long time," he said, his voice catching. "Thank you, Emma, Lily, and Grace." The girls beamed, their faces lighting up with pure joy at having their names remembered. Their mother approached, her smile warm but slightly apologetic. "I'm Sarah Mitchell. I'm sorry if we startled you. We do this every Christmas Eve. The girls make cards and we walk around the neighborhood, giving them to people who look like they might need a little extra love during the holidays." Marcus stood, still holding the card like a treasure. "No apology necessary. I'm Marcus Hayes, and your daughters have a gift for seeing what others miss." Sarah's eyes widened slightly with recognition. "Hayes Technologies, my brother works in your Seattle office. IT department. Small world," Marcus said softly. Then, surprising himself, he added, "Would you all like to get some hot chocolate? There's a cafe just around the corner." "My treat." The triplets erupted in excited whispers, looking up at their mother with pleading eyes. Sarah hesitated, studying Marcus's face. Whatever she saw there must have reassured her, because she nodded. "That would be lovely. Thank you." The cafe was warm and decorated with twinkling lights. They found a large corner table, and Marcus ordered hot chocolate for everyone, with extra marshmallows for the girls. As they waited for their drinks, the triplets told him everything about their Christmas traditions, their favorite presents, and why they thought reindeer could really fly. Marcus found himself laughing. Actually laughing. The sound felt foreign, like a language he'd forgotten how to speak. "Why do you give out cards?" he asked Sarah while the girls colored on the paper placemats the cafe provided. Sarah was quiet for a moment, wrapping her hands around her warm mug. "My husband passed away 2 years ago. Heart attack, completely unexpected. That first Christmas was so dark. We were drowning in grief. But then a stranger in the grocery store simply smiled at me and told me I was stronger than I knew. Such a small gesture, but it was exactly what I needed to hear." She glanced at her daughters, her eyes glistening. "I wanted to teach the girls that even when you're hurting, you can still bring light to others. Maybe especially then, it helps us remember that love doesn't disappear. It just changes form." Marcus felt his throat tighten. "I'm sorry for your loss. And I'm sorry for whatever loss left you walking alone on Christmas Eve," Sarah said gently. "The girls saw it, you know. They have a sense about these things." Marcus looked at the card still resting on the table beside him. "I've spent 20 years building a company. Somewhere along the way, I stopped building a life. No family, no real friends, just work. Tonight I realized what I'd done, but I didn't know how to undo it." "You don't undo it," Sarah said. "You start fresh, right now, tonight." Grace, the smallest of the triplets, climbed off her chair and walked over to Marcus. Without a word, she crawled into his lap and hugged him. Just held on, her small arms barely reaching around him. "You can share our Christmas," she whispered. "Mommy always makes too much food anyway." Marcus looked at Sarah, unable to speak. She smiled. "She's right, I do make too much food. And we'd be honored to have you join us. If you'd like." Marcus held Grace a little closer. The tears that fell were quiet, but they felt like relief. Like release. Like coming home after being lost for a very long time. "I'd like that very much," he managed to say. Later, in Sarah's modest but warm home, surrounded by the laughter of 3 little girls and the gentle comfort of someone who understood loss, Marcus Hayes discovered something remarkable. The best gifts are never the ones we plan for. They're the ones that find us when we need them most, delivered by small hands and open hearts. That night, Marcus didn't just receive a card. He received a reminder that it's never too late to let people in. That success means nothing without someone to share it with. That kindness is the bridge between loneliness and belonging. The card stayed on his bedside table for the rest of his life, a paper and crayon reminder that sometimes the greatest change comes from the smallest gesture. And that no one has to be alone, not really, if they're brave enough to accept the love that others offer. Merry Christmas, indeed.